So you're building something really meaningful, right? But somewhere between those back-to-back client calls, the endless flood of emails, and just keeping the lights on, the dream has started feeling a bit more like total burnout. Sound familiar? Does it feel like no matter how many things you literally cross off, your to-do list just magically keeps growing? Well, listen, you are definitely not alone here. The problem isn't that you lack discipline, and it's for sure not that you just have too much to do. The really uncomfortable truth, it's that you simply haven't decided what not to do.
Okay, let's dive right into a massive productivity killer, multitasking. Now, we founders, we tend to wear this like a badge of honor, right? Almost like it's a superpower. But research actually shows it causes a whopping 40% drop in efficiency. 40%. Constant task switching absolutely destroys your focus. Think about it. Every single time you pivot from a client email over to some operational fire, your brain literally has to reset. You aren't doing more. You're actually just getting slower and making way more mistakes as the day drags on.
And hey, if a 40% drop in efficiency sounds bad, the macro impact of this is just staggering. $2 trillion. Just let that number sink in. That is the estimated global cost every single year of poor project management. Organizations are bleeding about $1 million every 20 seconds simply because they're running on pure instinct instead of a prioritized system. Now, obviously, for your startup or your small business, the numbers might be a little smaller, but the damage is proportionally identical. Running without a system just bleeds your most precious resources, your time, your money, and your momentum.
So, welcome to The Explainer. I'm speaking to you today on behalf of Team Agile Highlanders, and we are going to fix that overload right now. Today's explainer is called Stop Doing Everything, Start Winning, Prioritization for Founders. Our mission today is really simple. We're going to help you reclaim your time and honestly, your sanity by treating your business like a product and your time like an agile sprint. You know, a short focused burst of high priority work.
Here's our roadmap for today. 1. The cost of doing everything. 2. Meet the MoSCoW method. 3. Eisenhower, Rice, and more. 4. Real startups, real prioritization. And 5. Your 5-minute weekly system.
Section 1. The cost of doing everything. Now, the core philosophy we need to grasp here is absolutely crucial. As a founder, your default survival mode is saying yes to literally everything. But doing everything destroys your momentum. Like we said earlier, this isn't a discipline problem, it's a prioritization problem. Without clear priorities, your backlog, which is basically just your master to-do list, becomes this massive, overwhelming wish list. You end up starting 100 different things, but you finish almost none of them. You have to actively decide what actually gets your attention, and more importantly, what absolutely doesn't.
Section 2. Meet the MoSCoW method. So what is it? Well, the MoSCoW method is a prioritization technique used to reach a common understanding with stakeholders, or honestly just with yourself, on the importance of tasks for a given time frame. It actually originally comes from the 1990s Agile software development world, specifically created over at Oracle. But today, it's been brilliantly adapted for solo hustles, local MSMEs, and growing teams to really triage work when deadlines are tight and capacity is incredibly low.
All right, here is how the acronym breaks down. M is for must-have. These are your non-negotiable critical tasks. If you don't do them, the business essentially stops. S is for should-have. These are high-value items. They're important, sure, but they aren't exactly life or death for this specific week. C is for could-have. Nice to have extras if you somehow magically find extra time. And finally, W. W is for won't have. Guys, this one is absolutely crucial. Won't have does not mean never, it just means it's parked and intentionally deferred. Reframing this from a negative failure into a positive strategic choice, that takes all the guilt right out of saying no.
To make this instantly memorable, let's think of your tasks like the human body. Your must-haves, that's the heart. You literally cannot live without them. Your should-haves are the hand. Highly useful, you really want them, but technically you can survive without one in a pinch. Could-haves are the hair. You know, nice for appearances, but you'll be perfectly fine without it. And your won't-haves, that is the appendix. You don't need it right now, so just leave it alone.
Section 3. Eisenhower, Rice, and more.
Another truly game-changing tool here is the Eisenhower matrix, which was popularized by Stephen Covey. When you look at your master list, you want to map your tasks by urgency and importance. If it's urgent and important, like say, a completely broken checkout system, you do it now. If it's important but not urgent, like long-term strategy, you schedule it. If it's urgent but not important, like answering routine admin emails, you delegate it. And if it's neither of those, just eliminate it. Seriously, most founders spend 80% of their day in the bottom half of this board. Using this matrix stops that immediately.
You can also pair the MoSCoW method with time bucket prioritization. This breaks your work down into now, next, soon, later, and never. Now is your current sprint commitment. Next is fully refined work you're going to tackle really soon. This method is incredibly powerful because it explicitly ties the size of your backlog to your actual team capacity and throughput. It basically ensures your to-do list remains an actionable plan instead of just a bloated, super stressful wish list.
Section 4. Real startups, real prioritization. Let's look at some real-world examples.
Consider two real-world approaches we constantly see in our consulting work. Rahul runs his digital service business entirely on instinct. He responds to every single ping, he jumps between tasks constantly, and he regularly works way past midnight. But he finishes very few meaningful items. He is always busy, but always behind. Now, Priya, on the other hand, runs her similar-sized business in sprints. She uses MoSCoW every Monday, she rigorously blocks her calendar, and she delegates. Over the exact same 6-month period, Priya launched new services, onboarded clients, and get this, actually took a vacation. The difference wasn't working harder, it was disciplined prioritization.
Let's apply this to a realistic scenario in Northeast India. Imagine a local UPVC windows business in Guwahati looking to digitize. If they try to do everything all at once, they're going to fail. With MoSCoW, their must-haves become very clear: a basic website, a simple lead sheet, and an install checklist. Their should-haves are a WhatsApp inquiry button and maybe an online estimator. Could-haves are testimonial videos. And what won't they have right now? A really complex 3D configurator. By doing this, they completely avoid digital bloat and focus only on what actually drives customer inquiries today.
Here's another great example for you. A tourism homestay in Shillong combining Eisenhower and MoSCoW. What's urgent and a must? Well, keeping their online listings accurate and answering guests. What's important but a should? Building a direct booking page to capture emails for the future. Urgent but could. Minor cosmetic tweaks around the property. And neither, so won't have, over-engineering a totally custom mobile app. Doing this perfectly balances keeping their daily operations completely stable while they actively schedule real, measurable growth.
Section 5. Your 5-minute weekly system. The best part, you do not need an expensive certification or fancy software to start doing this. You just need the simple, jargon-free weekly Agile operating system. Step 1, do a brain dump. Just get every single task out of your head and onto paper. Step 2, sort with MoSCoW. Be brutally honest here, most things are not must-haves. Step 3, run your sprint. Pull only the musts and maybe the top 2 shoulds for this week. Step 4, protect your sprint. Block your calendar time and please silence those alerts. And Step 5, review on Friday. What did you actually finish? Update your backlog for next week. It's really that simple. I really want you to remember this absolutely powerful truth. Prioritization is not a productivity hack. It is a business strategy. The most successful projects, the best companies, and the most impactful founders are not the ones who do the most things. They're the ones who consistently do the right things first.
So, my challenge to you as we wrap up this explainer today is this. Look at your overloaded to-do list right now. What are you going to definitively say won't have to today? I want you to give yourself permission to park it without guilt and just watch your momentum return. Reclaim your time. Once again, I'm speaking on behalf of Team Agile Highlanders. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Keep sprinting, and I will see you in the next one.